Are you thinking about selling your house and you're trying to figure out how to price the thing? Well, hold on. I'm here today with 3 pricing strategies to help you figure out how to get the most money in your pocket. Stay tuned until the end for a bonus tip about the psychology of numbers and how the particular numbers you choose may impact the buyer. Hi, I'm Emily Farber with Lepid-Kreger Realtors in Iowa City, Iowa. Thanks for joining me. So let's talk about pricing strategy. Price is an enormous factor when you're selling your house because when you get the price right, everything else should fall into place. Get the price wrong and you're going to have a rough go, often from start to finish. First off, when you're selling your house, you need to park your emotions at the door. Your home becomes a house. Notice the change in language. It is no longer your sanctuary. It is a house, which is a commodity, and you are engaging in a business transaction. Here are 3 strategies for pricing your house. Number 1, hit the nail on the head from the get-go. If you're not one to play games, do your research, know your competition, and pull comparables of recent past solds that are very similar to your property in size, location, and amenities. Once you have those data points, you'll have a range, a likely selling price range for your house. Now there's a lot of other factors besides just condition that will affect the price of your house and either drive it up or down within your likely price range. Things like power lines, cell phone towers, road traffic, landscaping, all kinds of things like that impact the value and the perceived value by buyers. Price strategy number 2, swing high. Hey, I don't necessarily recommend this one, but I can see why buyers are attracted to it. Everybody wants to get the most money out of their house possible, right? Right. However, purposely pricing your house at the tippy top of the price range comes with a lot of high risk. Let me explain. The first big risk of this strategy is that you are never going to have your most likely buyer walk through the door. Let's say your house, by looking at the comparable properties of recent past solds, you determine that the most likely selling price of your house is about $250,000. But after all, you've got Delta faucets and you planted a new tree and you have some window treatments that you bought at Home Depot and you think your house might be worth just a tad more than that. Note the sarcasm. Okay, so you decide to price your house at $260,000, figuring that if you have to, you can reduce the price or you can negotiate once you have an offer, right? Not so much. The problem with this theory is that your most likely house buyer, your target buyer, your ideal buyer, might not even walk through the door. That ideal buyer is going to be searching for homes priced between, probably $240,000 and $255,000. Remember, you priced yours up at $260,000, so you're never even going to fall within their search parameters. That's really a shame because your house priced at $250,000 in that price range of $240,000 to $250,000 would have stacked up on the upper end. It would have been a fairly impressive house, and the likelihood of the buyer falling in love with the top end of their price range is high. But again, that likely buyer is not going to be looking at your house because it's just too expensive to bother. On the flip side, the buyers who are shopping in a little bit more expensive of a range, say they're shopping from $260,000 to $270,000, your house is going to seem like a real dud because it's not actually a $260,000 house. It's a $250,000 house. So not only is your house going to not have the amenities, the fit and finish, and the quality that they're looking for, you're not even looking at your ideal buyer. Another pitfall of optimistically pricing your house is that even if you do get a few of your ideal buyers through the door, they're going to walk in, they're going to see that you are unrealistic in your price, and chances are they're just going to dismiss your house from their mental list. They are gonna figure that you are in La La Land. They don't have time for you to, catch up with reality, and they're just gonna move on. People think, oh, those buyers will swing back around when I reduce the price. But in my experience, that is often not the case. Once a buyer dismisses a house for whatever reason, it's like a mental switch goes off in his or her head, and they are just over it. Price strategy number 3, go low. If you are thinking about purposely pricing your house on the low end of your likely selling range, ask yourself a few questions before you open that box. First off, is your house highly desirable? Is it in a really desirable school district? Is it in a hot neighborhood? Is it in a price bracket where houses are just flying off the market? If your house is highly desirable, this might be a price strategy for you. What you're gambling on with this price strategy is that the buyers are going to drive up the price, not you. When buyers come through a house and they perceive it as being a red hot value, everybody wants to jump on that train. So the buyers are going to drive up the price, and they might even forego some contingencies that normally might protect them. Maybe they'll say they're going to waive their right to the home inspection, or maybe they will say, hey, the appraisal doesn't matter, I'll come up with any difference. All of these things are great for you as the seller, but just be careful that you don't get greedy and short-sighted when you see those offers tumbling in. It's easy to let yourself be deceived by the highest number, but sometimes the highest number is not going to be the best offer. So very carefully review those offers and make sure you are picking the best one. If you take this approach, make sure that you have a goal price in mind so that you don't get greedy and foolish during the feeding frenzy, if it happens. Now remember, you don't have to accept an offer. If that frenzy of buyers didn't quite pan out the way you wanted it to, you could refuse to accept any offer and go back to the drawing board. Now for the bonus tips all about numbers. Did you know that there's psychology in numbers? It's true. So one train of thought says that zeros after a number leave the number open-ended and invite negotiation. For instance, the experts might say that 250,000, with those zeros on the end of it, opens up the idea to the buyer that there may be room for negotiation. Well, 9 seems very finite and very firm. So a price of $249,900 seems deliberate and shuts down the buyer's impression that there might be room for negotiation. Like many things in life, people disagree. So there's another train of thought that says, no, it's all about the zeros. When you're searching online, usually the search parameters for the major search engines are on the zero. For instance, 200,000 to 210,000 or 200,000 to 220,000. So if you price your house at 200,000, you're going to pick up buyers that are looking in the 190 to 200,000 range, as well as buyers that are looking in the $200,000 to $210,000 range. So it's like double the bonus for your number. If you're solidly in the middle of your likely price range, then what do? Do you just split the difference with a 5? Number psychology says that the number 4 and the number 7 are powerful. And in westernized nations, those two numbers are often considered lucky. To add to the confusion about numbers, they are highly cultural. Just because the number 4 and 7 may be lucky around here in the United States doesn't mean that they will appeal to all of your buyers. If you live in an area with a lot of international buyers, it may be a good idea for you to do a little bit of research about what numbers are considered lucky or unlucky in those cultures. For instance, the number 4 in China is considered highly unlucky because the way it sounds very similar to the Chinese word for death. If you're interested in some more tips and tricks on selling your house, Be sure to check out my seller's guide. I've left a link for it down below. I'd love to help you. Reach out to me. All my contact information is down in the description box. Hey, have a good day, and I will catch you next time.